welcome to the program the president of the Iron Mining Association, Kelsey Johnson. Kelsey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. So tell us about the iron mining world these days. How are things?
Well, it's a very good question. As you may know, we're a $3 billion industry here in northeastern Minnesota. 6 of our 11 mines are actually idled right now or shut down, and that's due mostly in part because of global competition. And I know you folks are well aware of what global competition does to prices, but certainly our prices of taconite iron ore have plummeted over the last year and a half. We have seen some recent signs that are positive, including some International Trade Commission filings that gave us some positive signs to lead us to believe that the industry is on a slow comeback, but it's still, we definitely have a lot of competition with China and Australia and Brazil producing quite a bit of iron and kind of running the show. So,
who are your customers for the iron in the range of Minnesota?
Well, that's really a good question. We sell our taconite and iron ore pellets to a number of different folks, but basically the entire St. Lawrence Seaway and all the Great Lakes is where we ship our products, and that becomes the steel that you use every day, whether it's your refrigerator, your microwave, a tractor, actually oil pipelines, and so that's an important component. Ships, trucks, cars, buildings. We basically make everything that you use when it comes to steel or anything that is made of steel. So kind of everything you can think of.
And, folks in North Dakota know lignite is, a product that brings us affordable energy. And a lot of that gets, put in power plants here that ship power to Minnesota. But in your case, you've got, you know a little something about coal-based electricity as well and what it means for the bottom line of the mining industry there, right?
Yeah, actually, here in Minnesota, we passed in 2015 a law called, it's basically geared towards energy-intensive and trade-exposed industries like iron mining. And what we were pleased with was that they allowed for energy-intensive and trade-exposed industries to file with the Public Utilities Commission for a lower energy or electric rate with the provider. Our energy provider is Minnesota Power, and we actually get quite a bit of our power from North Dakota and the windmills in North Dakota. Right now, what we are doing is we're subsidizing residential ratepayers in this market to the tune of nearly 25% for residential ratepayers. So they're seeing a 25% reduction in their overall cost. Well, we're paying roughly 30%. We're paying 30% more than our actual cost of service. So energy and low-cost, affordable energy is very important to us, especially with the clean power plans and the way that the clean power plans have gone forward. We are seeing an increase in our costs, and it's definitely something that affects our overall ability to produce our taconite and iron ore at a competitive price.
I always say the cost of electricity goes up, the cost of everything goes up, right?
Yes.
And it's the one constant. The cost of electricity goes up. Guess what, folks? Everything is going to cost more. Just not only your power bill, and you guys are a prime example because if you have to charge more, number one, you're now less competitive with overseas competitors, and that's in itself dangerous. That means jobs are lost, but also the cost of those products go up, and then you build a building, it costs more for the steel, right?
Yeah, and actually what's interesting about iron ore is it's one of the most intensive, and it is the most intensive energy users in the state of Minnesota. It takes 25% of our overall cost is energy and electricity. Anywhere between 25 and 40%, as much as 40%, for us to produce a ton of taconite ore. And so when those costs go up, what that means to us is that if it's $1 or even $2 fluctuation, it could mean the end of a lot of jobs, upwards of 20 to 50 jobs in each one of the facilities that we operate. So that could be a couple hundred people that are laid off, and it's really important that people understand the impact of these energy cost crises and how they can really have implications all the way downstream too for the economy.
And what I don't understand is this, and I hope it's not the average Minnesotan. It's more sort of this extreme environmental lobby that has a lock on, some politicians, some legislators, and so they are very anti-energy in Minnesota. I'm talking about St. Paul for the most part. Again, I assume there's some of that out there in the communities as well. But I mean, go so far as to literally pass legislation that says no thanks to North Dakota coal, which means every business pays more for electricity. I mean, you can't make it up. And of course, they lost that one in court, something that Governor Mark Dayton is still bitter about and is now taking out on the Red River Valley for flood protection down in Fargo. It's just you can't keep up with the level of games. But am I wrong, Kelsey? Is Minnesota just, at least it's elected folks on one side of the aisle anyway, a little anti-energy?
Well, I think that it's across the board. Something that we're seeing is this interesting push where folks seem to know better than everybody else about how to protect the environment. And it's not insular to energy. I think it's also across the board with the mines and also farming. We're starting to see more and more regulation about how we produce what we produce and where we can produce it and why we can produce it. And I think it's something that's really disconcerting because folks seem to be very anti-industry. And at the end of the day, we're all trying to make this a much better world for everybody. And that doesn't mean that we have to degrade our environment or anything like that. And clean coal is certainly something that needs to be taken into consideration as we continue to move forward because it is the lowest cost and one of the best energy sources that we have available. And frankly, I mean, with the way that we produce our taconite, most of our taconite goes to blast furnaces that use coal. And so coal is such an important part of the overall production of everything that we see in front of us. And so I think that it's really important that long-term we look to all energy solutions and energy options to maintain a strong and growing global economy, and mostly economy based here in the United States, and making sure that our economy is most well insulated to these global pressures.
Yeah, well said. Anything else you want to say before we let you go?
No, I really appreciate you having this discussion because it's so important that folks understand that energy is a really important component to making a great product.
Yeah, I tell you, I think we need to do more in educating folks that I guess are not predisposed to this sort of global warming jihad, as I call it. Just this green extremism. Okay, look, we're all on the same page. I don't think there's a better environmentalist on the planet than farmers, right? So there's a lot of folks who can do this, but I really think, and maybe. There's enough common sense in western Minnesota to overwhelm a little bit of the craziness in eastern Minnesota. So we just need to spend some more time on this in the coming months and years. There's no doubt about it. Good luck to you, Kelsey, and our best to everybody in the Iron Range. Yes, and my good luck to you, and good luck in your election cycle. I know North Dakota's got a tough fight on their hands as well. All right, take care. Appreciate the chat very much. Kelsey Johnson, president of the Iron Mining Association.